it would be very easy to mistake this for a 500 Fiat. So welcome to Lot 76 Cars. We're at the Historics auction today at Farnborough, and wow, this is a very impressive entry list of lots here today. Some great cars. I know you're going to like some of the picks I've pulled out for us to have a look at. Some rare stuff and some stuff that's more accessible. So I hope you enjoy the video, and without further ado, on with the show. So Ferrari only built 3 of these P4s, I think with a V12 engine, correct me if I'm wrong. There's so few of them about that you're probably unlikely ever to see one. Now the interesting thing with lot number 187, which is a recreation, it was built by a guy called Lee Noble. You remember Lee Noble, Noble Cars? So when something's built by Lee Noble, then you think that you're dealing with something a bit more special than the average kit car, and the price would reflect it. So it's estimated at £52,000 to £62,000. What do you think of that? There's a little bit of damage in places here, but you can see obviously it's that fiberglass body. But you've got probably 8/10 of a Ferrari P4, and who can say that, eh? So anybody who wanting a Project Beetle, well, this might be the one for you. It's a 72 1303S. So the Beetle to the Superbug, or the Super Beetle, there was quite a lot of changes under the skin. This particular car has been stored in a barn for 30 years. Well, no kidding with that. I mean, I don't doubt that for a minute. It looks relatively solid, to be honest with you. So it must have been a dry barn. It's got this 1600cc air-cooled flat 4 engine, which the I believe the 1303S had, so a bit more poke than a regular Beetle. If you're into Beetles, what will this cost you? Well, if you want to go by the guide price, it is guided without reserve. So in actual fact, you may well grab a bargain, but you're in for quite a big resto project with that one. So lot number 105 is an 82,000 mile example of a beautiful VW Corrado G60, the supercharged one. Originally some of these cars came into the UK left-hand drive only. This is a right-hand drive car. It's guided at a reasonable £9,000 to £14,000. Well, why am I making a big thing out of it? Well, let's have a look round it, and I will tell you then at the end how much the owner has spent on this car. Now this one immediately caught my eye at the catalogue. I do like these. Looks a fairly honest looking car. Bit of wear on the bolster there, but I think that could be put right. Inside, obviously they were built by Carman. You've got the correct Carman badges there. The dashboard is unmarked. Door cards don't look too bad at all. Now, it's got the proper rear spoiler. Does that lift up at 55 miles an hour? Well, we'll have to see, won't we? But in actual fact, what makes the difference with this car, and why I'm so interested in pointing it out to you, it's had £14,000 spent on an engine rebuild, and to top it off, another £9,000 spent on paint. It owes the guy £23,000, and that's not taking into account the cost of the car in the first place. I mean, that is the car to buy for me. I have registered for bidding, and I may well have a look at that one. Let's see. Now lot number 106 is this rather lovely Herald convertible from 1967. Now if you like a backstory, this one's got a fantastic backstory to it. It was originally bought by from Brook Lane Garage in Ferryn-on-Sea, Sussex, to a W.B. Shaw Esquire. I love it when they used to call people Esquire. It says the invoice says one new Herald convertible with heated disc brakes, finished in white with red vinide interior and disc brakes. Now subsequently the car has been in the same family right the way through to 1993, then restored heavily in 2000. It's also had the rear suspension changed because they do suffer from wheel tuck, I think under braking or cornering. This at that lower estimate figure, or even mid estimate, that looks like absolutely brilliant value, doesn't it? And it is as good as it looks on camera. That silverware is absolutely well deserved. I really like the sound of that one, but do the bidders. So buyer beware, but this one is lot number 115 and it's a Porsche 911 Carrera 4 convertible. As you can see, it's guided at just 11 to 15,000 pounds. So what's the catch? Well, it is the 3.4, which can suffer from bore score. So you'll see a few videos on the internet about that. It doesn't affect every car, but a bit of a gamble. But 11 to 15,000 pounds plus fees, of course. It doesn't look too bad. The paintwork looks pretty good. Just a bit of nothing much, to be honest with you, that a good machine polish wouldn't improve. Certainly doesn't need repainting. At that sort of money, what will it make? I would be very interested to see what lot number 115 sells for. Is that a very cheap way into 911 ownership? Now, I'll be rather honest, I was taken with this 1980 Bentley T2 and its estimate of 8 to 12,000 pounds before I saw it in person. So with 104,000 miles on, doesn't look like a bad example in the pictures in moorland green. The problem is it's going to take quite a lot of paint. You can see the bonnet has going to need, in fact the whole car's going to need repainting, to be honest with you. Micro blistering there, some rust lurking underneath. The colour is certainly lovely, but in its current state that's going to need a huge restoration. Is a Bentley T2 worth that level of investment? Be interesting to see if somebody puts their hand in the pocket and how far that one gets. It's going to need a lot spending on it for sure. So if you want to visit a classic car show and have a home brewed cup of tea in the back, this Bedford CF lot number 118 is being offered without reserve. Yeah, there's a few bits you can focus in on there, but quite honestly, if you can get this for the right price, you could be on the road. I guess with the year, it is well inside the historic rules for ULEZ and everything else. It does look rather nice in there, actually. Would a few hours work put this straight? Let's have a look inside. Just poke the camera through into the back there. What do you think to that? Could you see yourself visiting a few car shows? Maybe taking that touring holiday you've always promised yourself? I don't know, let's see. Without reserve? The sun's out? Well, at the moment, let's see what people think it's worth, shall we? So this 1961 Ford Zodiac Mark II Lowline is offered without reserve. So we really will find out what market is for these early 60s, late 50s cars. It's got some lovely period features, the spotlight up there, that shade over the front. I don't know how effective they are. Absolutely lovely inside. Look at the amount of room versus probably the exterior dimensions of this one. I did see this one, I mean, it could do with probably some rubbers on the windows. But honestly, without reserve, let's see what it makes, shall we? These do have a following. Is it still that strong in the UK? Be interesting to see, won't it? Now, Land Cruisers of this age are making pretty spectacular results of late. I know that Anglia Car Auctions sold one not that long ago. This is an 88 F-plated one with just 84,000 miles on the clock. Love those period stickers. It looks reasonably original. And now this particular car is guided at, wait for it, 18 to 22,000 pounds. Now it's far from mint, but it may just achieve that because there's so few of them left. A lot of them rusted out back in the day, didn't survive. So of course your choice is fairly limited. Inside looks pretty genuine. Love the cloth trim. There's none of that decadent leather here for Toyota owners. The plastic, yes, it's very plasticky, but it survived well. There we've got the Toyota clock of the period. We may be surprised by this one. It may go above, certainly above the bottom estimate, and it may go even further than that, because somebody who really wants one of these is seldom going to get the option of buying one of these at auction. Let's see, shall we? So lot number 124 is a beautiful example of an 848cc Mini, registered in 64, it apparently over its life has got over £20,000 worth of invoices. This is a sort of car I need to buy. It looks absolutely meticulously maintained. The paintwork's good, got a deep luster but doesn't look too shiny like it's just been painted ready for sale. Obviously got the exposed gutters there, got the sliding windows of the early cars, got the twist handles there, as you can see. Just take a quick look inside. I think it maybe have been retrimmed inside. Oh, it smells 1960s PMC in there as well. Well, in actual fact, to be interested to see what that will make. So with bills of that amount, it is in fact guided at £11,000 to £14,000. That might be a bargain for somebody. It's ready to go, isn't it, by the look of it? Lot number 129 is a 94S, so it's got the 2.5 litre Porsche engine, not the VW derived unit, LT derived unit in the others. Now this particular car is, I think, a 45,000 mile example, and it is offered without reserve. It doesn't look particularly over prepared. It's got the full sunroof that unit takes out. I don't know if the car's open. What's that, C86? It's very, very tempting, I must admit. Oh, it's open, so I'll have a look. It's got the pinstriped interior, which hasn't necessarily suffered with sun damage. Is the dash cracked? Well, it's not perfect, the dashboard there, but what's it worth? Well, the market is definitely going to decide. It's going to sell. It's a no reserve car, and to be honest with you, it could well be another one for my my list if I was brave enough to bid for one of these. But that looks lovely, doesn't it? So apologies if there's any background noise. I've persevered to try and include this fintail in our video. So lot number 135 is this beautiful 220B fintail. Now, my understanding with these, the fintail comes from the Mercedes trying to appeal to the American market at the time, with a nod to that with the fins on the back. These were incredibly successful in rallying in the period. This particular example, paint needs a bit of attention. Maybe you could bring it back with a machine polish, I don't know, or maybe it needs a bit more. In actual fact, it's got a fantastic history, being serviced by Mercedes-Benz dealers in this period, owned originally by a major HWYs, and it's got the original literature, brochures and manuals and so on. What will it cost you? You know what? It's guided, or estimated I should say, at £10,000 to £15,000. Now, is that low, or does that look like pretty good value? The lower spec cars had a single headlamp. This is a higher spec car denoted by the stack headlamps. In actual fact, right-hand drive as well, UK car, it's got a lot going for it. I could certainly see the appeal of one of these, especially at that sort of price. What do you think? One for you or not? Now, a firm auction favourite here is a Mark II Jaguar. This 1963 car is a 3.4 litre. Now, the 3.4s, apparently bank robbers preferred these over the 3.8s. I don't know why. If you're a bank robber or no one, then put it in the comments. Maybe it had a bit more torque or something like that, or acceleration or gearing. However, back to the car itself, it is a lovely restored example, and it's a manual transmission car in this burgundy coach. It's got a Webasto sunroof, and it's had a full restoration. Now, the one thing I would say, it's guided at £15,000 to £20,000. Now, maybe I'm out of touch with reality, but that doesn't seem like a huge amount of money. Even when you throw the fees in at the bottom estimate, this car might make quite a nice purchase. I think could do with a machine polish, take out some of the swirls, but let the market decide. Yeah. Another car totally without reserve is this Series 3 E-Type Jaguar in roadster flavour. 54,000 miles, long-term ownership, matching numbers example, but left-hand drive, of course. Now, the fact is, this lovely Bordeaux red Pearl car is left-hand drive, may have a big impact in terms of the values, but we're certainly going to find out what it's actually worth today, because it's definitely selling, isn't it? What would your guess be? I'm not sure. Are we in the 40s, the early 40s with this one? or more. We'll have to see, won't we? But it doesn't look like a bad example at all. Well, let the bidding commence and let the market tell us what they think an E-Type Jaguar is worth in 2026. So we're not going to leave Mercedes fans out. This is a 76 230 saloon. W115 must be right on the cusp of the launch of the 123. It is in right-hand drive, probably what, South African car, something like that. Introduced in 1968, these. I think it replaced the fintails from memory. What do you think to the inside? I think the inside looks pretty good. The interior's done really well. The cream is perhaps an acquired taste, and it was imported from South Africa via Portugal. It's guided at, wait for it, 13 to 17,000 pounds. And you know what? It is a very, very good example, and it may well do that. If you like these earlier cars, the W115s rather than the 123s, maybe it's the one for you. Now, to me, this Series 2 Lotus Europa from 71 looks like something of a bargain. It's guided at 12 to 15,000 pounds. It was rebuilt meticulously by an engineer, and it's the early car, got the 1470cc Renault engine. I think they use Renault 16 mechanicals, which is probably not a bad thing. All the interest might be for the twin cam cars, but this particular car is beautiful. Let's take just a quick look inside. Honestly, I think it represents value for money. Not sure about whether all the fuses should be on show, but maybe that's a more recent addition. But certainly, bodywork wise, it does look an absolutely lovely car. Don't you just love that colour? Now, will people agree? Will they think that that is the same value for money? Those supposedly robust 1470cc Renault engines, I guess. I love the number plates. I'm going to zoom in on that. I love the number plates on the back where the digits are on the grille. What will they make of it? What do you make of it? Is that the sort of car you like to see on the channel? I must admit, I'm quite taken by that, as you can tell. So lot number 152 is this Audi Quattro. It's a very early car, not the earliest, they came out in 80. The early cars like these with the twin headlamps apparently are worth a little bit more. It's got 85,500 miles on the clock, and it is apparently a genuine right-hand drive car with an extensive history file. And you know what? It does look honest. I mean, I think that guide price of 37 to 44,000 pounds might be fair for such an honest car. Could you bring the paint back? It's not perfect, but I'd rather have a car like this that I knew what I was starting with than one that had been hastily prepared for sale. It's got the all-important Quattro sticker on the side, of course. Those got attached to everything back in the day, didn't they? Oh, and it's open as well, so I love that brown interior. What do you think to that? Dashboard looks uncracked. It's got that old German car smell, and I should know, having had a few of them. Lovely seats, I bet they're comfy. So what will the buyers make of it? Well, I like it, but that's not important because I'm not bidding for it. Let's see, shall we? Now, you could be confused for thinking lot number 157 is a Fiat 500. No, it's a Steyr Puch 500D. Now, these have got a whole 20 horsepower. They are pretty rare, and it's guided at 29 to 34,000 pounds. Will it make it? Well, it might just do it. It's a bit more, apparently a bit better built than a Fiat 500, and a bit more than a 500 with a moustache on. Let's see, shall we? Another sensibly guided vehicle is this rather delightful Volvo Amazon. 121 Amazon, known as Amazon in some markets, but not necessarily the UK. Now, the interesting thing with this car, and the reason I point it out to you, it's a Rud Speed car. So Rud Speed was a tuner, and he was a very good tuner, and he had a great relationship with the manufacturers. In fact, Volvo sent 100 cars directly to him to have tuning work done, work to the head, work to the engine overall. I think even it mentions in period road tests fitment to Bilstein dampers. We're not sure with this particular one what work has been done. I think there are plaques and history with Rud Speed, but we're not quite sure the extent of that. But what an absolutely epically usable car. Love how for long loads how you can drive with the tailgate. and the number plate hanging down there. Loads of space inside. Honestly, I think that looks a really straight looking car. Of course, you could improve it, but let's see what that one makes, shall we? As you can tell, it's another one I'm a little bit smitten by. So lot number 170 is the last car that Daimler actually made before Jaguar ownership. And it's this beautiful SP250 B specification car, wrongly called the Dart because they could never use the name, and guided at 22 to 26,000 pounds. Now, in actual fact, I think it's got about 140 horsepower. This one's been in the same ownership, wait for it, for 41 years and was subject to a full repaint in 2001, where the colour was changed from, to British Racing Green from red. And doesn't it look pretty epic? Well, with a guide price of 22 to 26,000 pounds, it may well make all the money. They're a bit of an acquired taste. You could hardly call them pretty, but they're certainly distinctive, aren't they? So introduced in 1968, this would make lot number 173 a relatively early car, for it's from 72. It's an XJ6 Series 1 car. To me, a lot cleaner, these cars, where the bumper was lower down. It was moved up for the Series 2 cars for crash regs. Absolutely beautiful white colour. It is guided at 18 to 22,000 pounds. And generally speaking, I would say it is probably as good as it looks on camera. Sometimes they're not. Lovely red interior. Somebody's obviously had a look at under the engine bay. Paintwork quality, even under the lights, looks pretty good. This may well be worth all the money. There's a big difference between a good one and a mediocre one, but let's see what they make of that, shall we? So this W108 Mercedes, I guess one of the forefathers of the S-Class, is a really lovely car. It came from Australia, so it's a right-hand drive car with air conditioning. That must have been pretty special back in the late 1960s. It had one owner from 1968 to, I think, 2016 or something like that. It was mostly chauffeur driven when it was in Australia. It would benefit, I guess, from a bit of paint correction, and quite honestly, it's guided at a very reasonable 14 to 18,000 pounds. Now, whether that's to draw buys in or not, I don't know. Look at the glass area on these cars. A little bit of damage to the rear seats, maybe, I guess, sun damage. Let's have a look inside. It looks honest inside. Could do with a bit of a clean. Surprised they perhaps haven't done that before auction. It wouldn't take much, would it? But loads of room in these. Column gear change. Masses of room in the front and in the back. So the upholstery could do with a bit of a clean. I think you could have this car up and running quite quickly, and it would be potentially very usable. At that sort of guide price, let's see what it makes, shall we? I must admit, I do like that. What do you think? So DB7s in general have found a pretty low level in the market. I've seen the cars as certainly into 4 digits recently, but this is a slightly more upmarket DB7 Vantage. So I think with the V12 in there, a far different proposition, and of course price reflects it. 20 to 25,000 pounds. Interior looks pretty good on that car. Interior's worn well, and you'd expect separating the wheat from the chaff with these can be difficult. This is a 42,000 mile example. It's manual as well. That should tick a few people's boxes. Will they pay all the money for this V12 version of the DB7? I don't know, but the car itself does look in pretty good order. What do you think? Would that float your boat or not? Lot number 183 is this delightful Peugeot 504 GL Cabriolet. What makes it special? Well, first of all, how to spin off a car so pretty off that normal standard Peugeot 504 platform. I think Pininfarina had something to do with it. This particular car, at this guide price of 16 to 21,000 pounds, might float somebody's boat because it's a very rare right-hand drive car. I don't know if it's the original UK car. If they came in, somebody with better Peugeot knowledge than me might know that. But actually, at the lower end of that estimate, even plus the fees, that might represent a bit of a bargain. I don't know, what do you think? I think these are incredibly pretty. Look at those tiny, tiny wheels on it. Looks reasonably tidy on the arches. I don't know if anything's lurking under there. There's a bit of a coat of underseal there. Paintwork looks reasonably honest. Well, as always, the bidders will be the judge. What I think is irrelevant, but to me, it looks like potentially decent value for money. So if you've got around 80,000 to 90,000 pounds, it may snag you a 1967 Alfa Romeo Giulia 1.6 Veloce, I think is the correct pronunciation of that. Absolutely lovely condition. I know that my fellow YouTuber RC Classic Garages are not more of an expert than I am on these. It would be interesting to see what it makes. Apparently it's only got less than 40,000 miles on the clock. Paintwork is beautiful. It's the original, I think, Giugiaro step nose design. You see the step in the nose there? What's it worth? Well, let the market decide, shall we? Now, some cars surprise you, not necessarily in a good way. This 1970 E-Type semi-lightweight evocation looked reasonable value on paper at 35 to 40,000 pounds. Apparently it's a competitive race car built over 3 years. I suppose depends on how good it is as a race car, but I don't think the door shuts too well. It may be a great racer, but if you're looking for something to show, it's probably not the car for you. Is it what that sort of money? Is it worth that sort of money? I'm beginning to wonder now whether, unless you're a die-hard racer, you're going to race or hill climb it, whether that would really appeal. Have to see. Guided at 15 to 20,000 pounds is lot number 203. I think this is a two-owner car, and it is a Mark II, the Mark II Cortina designed by Roy Haynes, who later went to BMC. I think designed the Marina. This built by Crayford, a documented Crayford car, say 2 owners. It's a GT, that makes it doubly special. It's got the additional dials inside. What's a road style alloy wheels? Rubrioing. Let's have a look inside. Well, it looks pretty straight there. It's even got the instructions there, you can see on the seat, for folding the hood. It doesn't look that complicated. Only a single skinned hood on these, so it's going to be a pretty noisy place to be. Looks to have the period correct dials that the GT had. Ford aficionados tell me if it is different to that. You may know more than I do. It just said watch the dog security system, so not sure about that. Probably long since gone. What's it worth? 15 to 20, or will it be worth more? It's a nice example, I must admit. So something a bit different here. Unfortunately, I've been able to have a chat with the owner who imported this from the States. It is an award-winning 57 Chevrolet 3100 custom flatbed. And you can see why it's won the awards. Now, this particular vehicle is guided at 34 to 38,000 pounds. So probably the owner might just about get his money back or a bit. I don't think he's too troubled if somebody doesn't sell today, because I think he's quite attached to it. Apparently, it sounds absolutely magnificent. Again, not the sort of vehicle we'd normally pick out, but quite honestly, you would certainly make an entrance at your local show with this Chevy, wouldn't you, really? So I hope you've enjoyed the historics auction at Farnborough here today, and some of the vehicles we've managed to include in the video. Please like, share and subscribe, and please feel free to share the video, hype the video, so it gets out to a wider audience. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.